President, please be seated. The court is now in session. Today, the chamber will continue hearing the testimony of Sun Eng to the conclusion, and there is a reserved witness, 2 TCW 1060. Jie Siu Wong, please report the attendance of the parties and other individuals to today's proceedings. Mr. President, for today's proceedings, all parties to this case are present, except Mr. Sun Arun, the National Co-Counsel for Mr. Nguyen Jie, who informed the chamber that he is absent today for personal reasons. Mr. Nguyen Jie is present in the holding cell downstairs. He has waived his right to be present in the courtroom. The waiver has been delivered to the greffier. The witness who is to testify today, Sun Eng, is here with the duty counsel Sokso Chieta. And today we have a reserved witness, 2 TCW 1060. Thank you very much, Mr. President. President, first, the chamber decides on the request by Nguyen Jie. The chamber has received a waiver from Nguyen Jie dated 5th December 2016, which states that due to his health, headache, back pain, he cannot sit or concentrate for long, and in order to effectively participate in future hearings, he requests to waive his right to be present at the 5th December 2016 hearing. Having seen the medical report of Nguyen Jie by the duty doctor for the accused at the ECCC, dated 5th December 2016, which notes that Nguyen Jie has a constant lower back pain when he sits for a long time, and the doctor recommends that the chamber shall grant him his request so that he can follow the proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs. Based on the above information and pursuant to Rule 81.5 of the ECCC internal rules, the chamber grants Nguyen Jie his request to follow today's proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs via an audio-visual means. Every unit personnel are instructed to link the proceedings to the room downstairs so that Nguyen Jie can follow. This applies for the whole day. And the chamber wishes to ask about the time arrangement between the defense team for the two accused. So how do you arrange the time left for you? You have only half day, to one session today to put question to the witness, and the case upon team will have the last opportunity to put questions to the witness.
Yes, good morning, Mr. President. I intend to use, I suppose, 2/3 of today's session, and the remaining time will be for the Hughes and Pound team after the prosecution and civil party lead co-lawyers have finished their questioning.
Fine. Now you may proceed, counsel for Mr. Nguyen Jie.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Witness. I would like to continue my questioning with you this morning. Last Thursday, we were speaking about Heng Samrin and So Pim, and So Pim's instruction to Heng Samrin to gather forces. I have a few follow-up questions in respect of Heng Samrin. At the time when So Pim gave his instruction to Heng Samrin was still the commander of the 4th Division. Is that correct?
Witness, that is correct.
Do you know who at that specific time was the second in command of the 4th Division? Who was Heng Samrin's deputy? Do you know?
But
I didn't know at the time his deputy. And that was the only day that I met Heng Samrin. I did not know at the time other individuals.
But I thought you had told DC Cam, but correct me if I'm wrong, that you had seen Sopim meet Heng Samrin quite often. Is that correct, or did I misunderstand your testimony?
But if you're referring to a DC Chem testimony, perhaps you could give us the reference, then it's easy.
Yes, certainly. E3/10716, English ERN 013-53341, Khmer 013-40556, and French 013-45494. This is what the DC Cam statement says. Question at that time, was Ta Heng Samrin the chairperson of Division 4? And then you answered chairperson of Division 4. Question, did you bring the letters to him personally? And then you answer, I often had food and drink with him. You had food and drink with him? That's right. I ate meals face to face with him. Did he ever say anything? He even used to pick jackfruit and bring it to me. He used to, well, then it continues. So, Mr. Witness, this seems to suggest that you knew Heng Samrin quite well and that you met him more than this one time that he was instructed by Sopim to gather forces, correct?
but some slide call and
When I lived there, I used to go to see him. And after the arrests were made by the Southwest, and from that time onward, had no time meeting him.
Let me return to my original question. Did you know who the number 2 of the 4th Division was?
but
At the time, I do not know clearly. No one told me. There was another person with me, accompanied those people. 2 of us, including me, were equipped with weapons at the time, and we went past the forest.
In your DC Cam statement, English ERN 013, actually it's the exact same pages as I just mentioned. When you talked about Heng Samrin, you also talk about someone named Kim, Heng Kim. We briefly discussed him last week as well. You said that Kim was chairperson of Division 5. Is it correct that Kim at one point in time was the deputy commander of Division 4 before he became commander of Division 5?
មក
I did not know this individual in the past. But after I went through an incident, I learned that he was part of Division 5.
The reason I'm asking you is because of an excerpt in a book written by an Australian scholar, someone who recently testified in this courtroom as an expert. Just for completeness sake, let me read that particular excerpt. Mr. President, I'll be referring to E3/10699, English year and only 01335-197. And this is what this particular scholar wrote, and I will be asking if you have any reaction to it. He says, quote, according to a major from the National Army of Democratic Cambodia, who had defected to Thailand in September 78 that is, Heng Samrin had attempted a coup against the government in Phnom Penh the previous April. However, the second in command of Heng Samrin's 4th Division, based at Kampong Cham, warned the government and the plot was crushed. Heng Samrin, who was said to have been part of a larger pro-Vietnamese group within the CPK, fled to Vietnam with some of his troops and weapons. Is that something that you ever heard, Mr. Witness? The second in command of the 4th Division betraying Heng Samrin and warning the government of an attempted coup d'etat?
But
I have never heard about that. I had already left. I did not know about that.
សូមចាប់បាទ
That's all I can say.
Mr. Witness, I showed you a photo the last time that you were in this courtroom. This was a photo from a video, and I would like to show you the 9 seconds of this video that the photo was taken from. And I would like to ask you to have a look at this and ask you again if this time you are in a position to recognize that person. Mr. President, with your leave, I would like to put on the screen E3/3015R, minutes 1.51 up until minute 2. 9 seconds that we have prepared for this witness.
Yes, please proceed. And AV unit, please show the video clip requested by the defense team for Mr. Nguyen Chia Kopa.
Mr. Witness, the very first person you saw in that clip who was raising his fist, is that Heng Samrin?
បាទខ្ញុំសូមឆ្លើយខ្ញុំស្រពេច
It is not clear to me. It happened a long time ago. My memory does not serve me well, so I would like to respond that it appears that I am not sure who he is.
Maybe one final question on this subject. The man that you saw raising his fist while addressing the crowd, does that man look like the person? Does he look like Heng Samrin, the one you saw being instructed by Sao Pim to gather forces?
Sorry, Councillor, I'm not sure I understand that. He said he doesn't know if it's Heng Samrin. So what exactly do you want to know now? Does he have a resemblance to Heng Samrin? Or what is the question aimed at?
Well, we firmly believe that it is Heng Samrin. He has met Heng Samrin on multiple occasions. My question is, does he resemble the Heng Samrin he knew? The person on the video clip, does he look like the person that he remembers as Heng Samrin? I agree, it's a long shot, but...
President, Mr. Witness, this is a leading question. Please do not respond to the question. You yourself is testifying, and we have received the clear answer already from the witness.
As I said, it's not very important. I will move on, Mr. President. And let me now go to something you said last Thursday about Runim coming to visit Sao Pim, and I asked you to describe the house that they met, and you described it quite extensively as of minute or 14 hours and 30 minutes. In the draft transcript we can read the house being situated in Saum. That's a misspelling. It's supposed to be Song, S-U-O-N-G. Mr. Witness, I would like to confront you with something that was said by an upcoming witness to TCW 1070. Mr. President, there is a bit of a situation in relation to the English transcript of document E3/10717, and that is there are about 10 missing pages which are translated. There is a French version, a complete French version, and there is, of course, a Khmer version. So I'll be reading from an English transcript which doesn't have ERN numbers yet, but I do have the French ERN and the Khmer ERN. It's a bit complicated, but I understand that ERNs are on the way, English ERNs.
Juste une clarification. Qui a...
Just one clarification. Who did this transcription? The 10 pages that are missing in the version that is on record.
Yes, what happened is that we were triggered by the very last sentence in the English transcript of the upcoming witness's testimony. It says in E3/10717 on English ERN 01354-231, it says the end, sick, 10 more pages of Khmer. Then we contacted the translation unit, and it turned out that they had already translated those 10 pages, but haven't attributed any English ERNs. However, French is translated.
And for the record, you are quoting or planning to quote from an official translation?
Correct. Mr. Witness, in French ERN 013485564 and Khmer ERN 0134052 and 522. This other witness is testifying about Runim visiting the East Zone. And this is what he says, and let me read it to you. So when he came to the East, what places did he visit? Where did he mostly visit? Answer. He came to Tuol Prip and Samrong. Tuol Prip is Tuol and Prip Preab and Samrong Samranon. Question. He did not go to visit Song. Never. He never entered that place. Question. He only came to visit Tuol Prip and Samrong? Yes. So he came to Tuol Prip and Samrong to visit Ye Karo? Yes, because Ye Karo's place was there. Now, this witness is saying that Sopim never visited, Runim never visited Sopim in Song, S-U-O-N-G. However, you described multiple visits in a house very close to Sung. Are you sure you saw Runim visiting Sopim in Song?
Yes, I once saw him. He made a visit at the location. He was there for a brief moment only.
This same witness is when he is describing Runim's visit, is saying on that same page that Runim would sleep over 2 or 3 nights. Is that something that you know as well?
He spent an overnight, as you said. I do not know about this. I do not respond to the question. My memory does not serve me well, and I may not have seen him on that occasion.
Fine. Let me move on, Mr. Witness. Last Thursday we briefly spoke about Nguyen Chia, and I read to you your DC Chem statement that Nguyen Chia came to sleep at your office locations 3 or 4 times. Of course, you knew him. You said he slept in Sung, and Nguyen Chia came